Oh, this is gonna be so good. Live on Facebook, and I'll edit it so like this part will be out of it
Oh, that's okay.
if you care. I mean,
Of course, I don't.
okay, I didn't think so, but oh, I'm so excited about my tea. Okay, Facebook, Metatronian. Okay. I did think of a title. Come experience. Um, my dog, she's barking, or she's like right here. She's like, I want to come in.
My dog's in the room, and but Jeremy did take him, so that helped.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then yeah, uses as a perfect example of yeah, at least to get used to speaking to him. All right, so we're about to go live. Let me see what the dog wants. So I'm super excited. Oh, this is so, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I know. I'm so excited.
It's so beautiful to be in this space, right? So let me pull up the Zoom because like I have two different screens popping up over here. All right, got it. There we go. And let me make sure, sometimes this doesn't work all the time. Here we go. All right, we have people hopping on. We have Angela, Don. Let me share this to Teresa. Hola. I've had people message me. They're just excited. It's really beautiful, guys. All right. Hello. It's working. Yay. So we have Don in the house. We have Brookie. Don is actually a healer, so we'll talk about that.
Woo!
So oh guys, I should share the music. So if you guys can pick like music, or actually I'm going to share my playlist I'm listening to right now, because this is really what Metatron like has guided me to really share. So let me share, copy, and I think I could copy it in the comments. We're just going with the flow, guys. We are just going with the flow. All right. So I hope everyone's doing well. Okay, here we go. So many screens. We'll just wait a few minutes, but I just posted a link for the playlist. So if you guys want to pull that up, the way we have been guided to show up, I guess, is just allowing Metatron, the divine and our guides to take over. But at the end, we are being called to give you just a taste of what this Metatron healing is like. And yeah, so I'm super excited. Let me get my tea. So I made like my little tea for opening. So let me put
It's pretty pot
cream
too.
in there. What's that?
It's a pretty pot.
Thank you. I was excited when I found it too. Okay. So my phone always does this weird thing where it makes like the screen smaller, and I don't know why it does that, but it doesn't matter. Okay. So I guess where do we, you know what, Erin? I guess we'll start with introducing ourselves. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So, Erin, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, hello everyone. My name's Erin. I go by Words with Red. I have a group on Facebook called Red Sanctuary. I'm an energy healer. I work closely with the angelic realm. Um, I'm so excited to be here. So thank you, Madi, so much for having me here today. I'm excited to see all of you here, those who are live and on the replay. So yay, thanks for coming. We're gonna have fun today.
It's gonna be beautiful. All right. And those of you guys who don't know, my name is Madi, creator of the Sage Ranch, a healer. I don't like putting a lot of titles because I feel that titles keep us in a box, and we're actually gonna talk about this with Metatron Healing. Um, but let's just say I have a lot of experiences in life and traumas, and I've been guided to really help people remember who they are. Erin, how did we meet? Let's start. Yeah, how did we meet? How did that
Okay,
work?
so
I don't know.
So, everything really happens the way it's supposed to. In about 2020, I actually found a gal on Facebook. Her name's Holly Renee. Many of you might be very familiar with her. She has Home for the Healer. She's an
Mhm.
amazing healer. And I found Madi in that space through her groups. So having a group like that on Facebook is a really cool way for like-minded souls to meet each other. And it just went from there. That was the starting point.
Yes. And then so I guess, did you start by taking the Green Academy?
So I started by really following the Sage Ranch. And I believe that I had gotten a couple crystals from you first, or maybe it was the Florida water, which by the way is absolutely amazing. I did take the first course that you put out, the Green Witch course, and then I also took the Green Academy, which you guys, if you haven't taken it yet, what are you doing? It's so amazing. I learned so much and it really skyrocketed my spiritual journey. So
And and that's where you were able to receive the healing and the attunement with Metatron. So the way this all worked, and this is actually really good now that I think about it. So the way this all started was I received the attunement, the healing, and then the attunement from another mentor. And I guess you just kind of know if you feel different than the rest of the people in the world, I guess. I
yeah,
don't know how to explain that. I've always been so as the Green Witch, I've always loved herbs, and that's something I always grew up with in my culture. But I really like how there's sacred geometry in that. And so I've always had this connection with sacred geometry. And that's where we're at right now, is just really embracing that part. And I think about the spirograph. So as a kid, I remember, I don't know, do you know what that is? No, it's okay. That shows you how old I am. Uh, so I'll show a picture. But it allows you to like trace these sacred geometry is what it is.
like the
So
math thing.
yes,
What's it called? I don't know what it's called, but yeah,
it's
I know what
called
that is.
spirograph. Yes, because I
Okay.
had to write it down. I'm like, what is this called? Teresa says, yes, I remember. Or she says, yes. And then Don says, laugh out loud. I remember those. I know. And I always felt like a connection with them. You just kind of either excites you or it doesn't, right? It either calls on you or it doesn't. So I guess we can begin by I'm just gonna go ahead and just set the tone. So we're just gonna drop in, and then I'm gonna invite Metatron to come through and our higher selves, because I feel this will be easy for at the end when we do the healing. Does that work? All right. So if you guys want to grab your favorite essential oil, or if you want to burn sage, this also helps to balance your root chakra, making you feel safe. Um, I love the Metatron oil that I've created. And that's what you're showing. Oh my God. So yeah.
Perfect. This
Oh,
stuff is amazing, you guys. It smells so good and it really sets the space for a um really strong connection with Metatron.
That's yes, and I'll talk about that. So I'm just gonna have us just go ahead, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and just allow yourself to breathe all the way to the bottom of your feet, and then release. Go ahead, we're gonna do one more, and then release. And so I'm gonna go ahead and invite our higher selves to be open to receive what comes through. I call in Archangel Metatron to help lead and just talk about the wisdom that you hold. I call in our God, Source Creator, the divine, whatever it is you believe in, to just drop in, allow the connection to take place. I call in Mama Earth, Mama Gaia, to balance this energy. And I'm going to call in my gatekeeper to come in this space, as well as Aaron's gatekeeper to help lead. So anything of lower vibration, you are not welcome. And of course, let's call in Archangel Michael for protection, to protect this space. And so I'm just going to go ahead and close so that nothing else can come through. Whew. Just take another deep breath. All right. There we go. Let's start. Okay. What is Metatronian therapy? So the way that I see it's really about transformation on a deeper cellular level, soul connection, vibration rising. It's really awareness. Erin, do you need to add anything?
I think that it is very transforming, like transformative. Um, it gets into those deep, 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 deep layers, and I think we're going to talk about that
Yeah.
today. How deep it gets. Um, yeah, I don't even have the words to describe how amazing it is, and you really have to experience it to
Mhm.
experience the magic in it. It is, ooh, ooh, it's
You,
amazing, you guys.
I know you do have to experience it. Okay, so you're also a Reiki healer. How would you describe the difference between MT and Reiki?
Okay, so with Reiki, I that was like the first thing I started. That was the first modality that I learned about when I started in this on this spiritual path. And it was a really good like opener for me to experience what energy healing is like. I love Reiki. I think it's great. However, it just didn't feel like it didn't feel as aligned with me as maybe I was hoping it to be. But it opened the door for me to experience other modalities. And then um, Metatronia therapy, there's not as many rules, I feel
Yeah.
like, with it as there is in Reiki. Like Reiki is very structured. There's like so many hand placements, and that's great if you like structure. But I like to
Mm.
really go with the flow. I like to really do what I'm called to do. And it's hard to do that when there's so much structure. With Metatronia therapy, I instantly felt different. Instantly. The first session I ever had, I felt completely different
You
after.
had it,
It
it
was
was in the Green Academy. Yeah, I'm just thinking because
yep.
you were one that really stood out, like, oh my God, what was that? Everyone was, but it's just, yeah, just sharing, you've been sharing the love about it. Um,
it's it's so it makes me want to cry to be to be honest. It
hmm,
really does get deep into those layers and brings out what we need to work on.
it does.
um with Reiki, I didn't really feel much from it, to be honest. And there's nothing wrong with Reiki. If you do Reiki, that's great. I love that. Metatronia therapy, it's just it's like boom.
Yeah,
That's the word like boom in your face. It is fierce. It is very potent. It is strong. Um, it's helped me to gain confidence. It's helped me to really see and believe that there is so much more out there than what we see in front of us. Um,
And
it's
that's what sorry, that's what the Metatron therapy is about. It's really, it's not just the 3D, it's like you're going higher. And in these sessions, guys, so I do want to disclose, like, it's gonna bring up a lot of crap. It just does. And I have had clients, and even during attunements as well, I've had clients, cry, really release, triggers coming up, right? But again, I just got chills. But that's Metatron, like really showing you, like, hey, let's work with this. Let's work on this, but understanding that we're not alone. And I think that's the key. And so he really gives you these light codes. That's what he is. It's bringing you these light codes, this love to the situation. And it's just so powerful. It's and I've always had clients and students tell me, like, I don't know how to describe that. You just don't. And it'll sit with you for a couple days until you actually sit and ask for guidance and to release that. And this is what actually inspired my cord removal. And this is what we were talking about yesterday, right? So when I started cord removals, or the first big one is, and again, I don't like staying in a box. So when I was called to do this, and this was before I was even introduced to Metatron therapy, I use, oh yeah, our ancestors, right? So what a coincidence that my grandmother created like this huge grid which has sacred geometry in it. And so I was able to use it for cord removal and just tapping into that energy, and it's just so it's beautiful.
So let's talk about sacred geometry for a
Yes.
little bit. You think? I think that's a good idea
Yep.
because Metatronia therapy, Metatron is
Mhm.
all about sacred geometry and it is in everything. Everything around us, it's in. Think about it. Look around at something that's near you.
Yes.
Pick it up, look at it. There's sacred geometry in everything. It's in us too. And so Metatron really helps with that. I want to show you guys this crystal. Well, maybe you can't see it, but um, maybe this pyramid one,
Yes.
right? Sacred geometry. Stars, sacred
Mhm.
geometry. I used to draw stars when I was little, constantly, always drawing stars. I just had to share that.
I love that. Yeah, it is in everything, in trees. So Metatron therapy, it is ancient. But in 2010, Tammy, and I can't pronounce her last name, I'm gonna butcher it. Um, she's the one who really connected deeper to Metatron to be able to teach this modality, and that's how I was introduced to it. Um, let's talk about Metatron though. We were
Yeah.
talking about this yesterday, how he's one of the angels that a lot of people either feel triggered or don't know how to react.
Yes. So when you hear the word Metatron, it sounds like a transformer, right? The movie.
It's
Um, it doesn't like a lot of angels have that EL at the end, like Gabrielle.
oh
Mike
yes.
Metatron doesn't. And looking at a lot of different, stories and so much online, a lot of things stand out to me about Metatron. If you are aware or know of the book of Enoch, Metatron is Enoch, and it is said that Enoch actually was human and then went up with God and was turned into an angel. So, with that being said, Metatron knows what it's like to be human, and that's
Yes.
why he wants to help us ascend on this earth. He knows what this is like. He
Mm,
knows what it's like to be a spiritual being having a human experience. He knows. And another thing about Metatron is that he is said to sit on top of the tree of life. And he's also known to be the scribe. for God. So the holder of the book of life, which also resonates with the Akashic records.
Yes.
Um,
Again, higher.
higher, higher, higher. Really,
Yeah.
it's very high frequency. It's also said, if you've read or if you know anything about like Metatron, or if you've done any research on it, there's a lot of people that say um that he, where was I going with this?
It's 2:22 over here. Sorry.
Yeah. Um, I forget what I was gonna say. Oh my gosh.
I just looked at the clock and I got distracted.
So a lot of people say that, all the other angels, and Metatron is at like the top of that line, right? It's like he's like the highest angel, but it's also said, and this is kind of cool, that Enoch, I read somewhere that like he lived to 365 years old. So when he got to heaven and became an angel, he was the youngest angel. Um, but he was like kind of more powerful than all of them, I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's so much you could read, there's so much you can look into, and it's really fun to like dig into that.
it is.
And even if you don't believe in it, just think of it as like a fairy tale story, but still get excited about it. And it's like reading a Disney book. If you don't believe it, I mean, just look at it and see what messages it can bring you, because
And
there's a
that's,
message
sorry, go
everything.
ahead.
No, it's
I
okay.
just get like excited. So, and that's the thing about when we do these healing sessions, like one has to be open to receive it and to be, in a sense, ready to become more vulnerable within them. Does that make sense?
I remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
So what we were talking about, like that trigger, like the when you hear the word Metatron, when I first heard the word Metatron and like the angel, I was like, that's scary to me. Like, I don't know what it is, but I don't, it's just scary. Like the energy, I think maybe was just too much for my understanding at the time. And I was like, this is scary. And I didn't, believe in it. I was really skeptic at the time. It's really funny because now Metatron is like one of my most beloved guides. I work with him daily, and it's not scary. It's amazing, and it's just like the word witch, right? Like a lot of people get
Yes.
triggered by that word.
Oh yeah, they
Um,
didn't like when I had the Green Witch Academy. They're like,
a
"What
lot
is
of people didn't,
this?"
and growing up, I loved it, but everybody around me was like, "Oh, that's scary. You can't talk about that." Like I grew up in a Christian church home, so you talk about witches, you're not going to have a good day.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just like that, but there's nothing to be scared of. There really isn't. And you have to remember that there is no fear in love ever. And Metatron is
Yes.
all
And
love.
that's what yeah, it's all about love. And again, bringing that light to the darkness. Um, which then brought me to my drawing. So, so I was trying to explain to Erin, like, okay, like we are the tree. And the best way that I can describe it, guys, and bear with my drawing, um, divine Metatron, us, Gaia. So we think, and this is, it again, like we're not trying to make people, it's not worshiping. It's more so like you're just honoring, you're allowing yourself to connect to all these different angels, to your different guides. Like it's not just one, and also the divine, which then brought me to this drawing. So I know.
It's
So here,
perfect.
here we have Gaia, right? So this is the earth. Then we have us, the little human. Then we have Metatron, all about sacred geometry, which is in everything. And that was created from the divine also. But when we are able to become this tree, we can connect with just, I don't know how to word that. I can't think of the words.
So I
We
like
become
to
a
think,
direct channel for the earth and the divine and everything in between that's of love and light.
so what Metatron really does within this Metatronia therapy is he brings down that
Yes,
source light,
light.
right? So he is a direct channel. He's just in the middle. He's in the middle place. It's our direct channel to the divine, but Metatron is like God's right hand man. You
Yes.
know, there's a story that I read that Metatron actually kind of sits on the throne by God, or in some depictions, a lot of the angels are like kneeling down, right? But Metatron is seen sitting or standing because he's got that book in his hand and he's writing what the divine is telling him. So he is like a direct, what is the word?
Like you're, I don't know how to word. I know what you mean. Like the
You know what I
go-to.
mean?
Like I think I don't know. Um, yeah, like you're
Kind of think of it like he's like my immediate supervisor, and then the divine is my like my main boss kind of
yes.
thing. You know
There
what I
you
mean?
go. That's and you're the employee. Well,
Yes.
well, and then yeah, I guess you could be working with them. Huh.
And another thing I want to point out is Metatron works very, very well with all of the other angels. And it is
Yes.
said that a lot of the other angels actually, like, he's able to direct them, which is really cool too. So,
It's really neat.
mhm.
All right. What else? Does anybody have questions before we keep going? Oh, we were going to talk about the Merkaba. So, oh,
Mm,
I didn't bring mine. It's okay. If you don't know what Merkaba is, I will share it in the group later.
I
Um,
have, let me
but
take my, you guys, my background might be a little bit messy, but if you can see this,
yes, there we go. Perfect.
so
Yes.
that's the Merkaba.
And so the Merkaba, so Mer, which is a MER, stands for light, and then we have the Ka, which is KA, and that stands for spirit, and then the Ba, which is body. So it all equals balance, and that's why you see a lot of people work with Merkabas. It's really bringing that energy forth. But also when we think of Metatron's cube, okay, now we're getting a little nerdy here.
No, it's okay.
I know, it's
This is
so cool.
perfect. This
So
is a big part of it.
it is. It is a big part. Do you want to share your view on Metatron Q?
So I utilize it for protection. I imagine it around me. I imagine being inside of it. Um, I like to use this pendulum actually when I'm doing any healing work. Um, it's just, I'd like to hear more what Madi says on that too, because Madi can
Okay.
explain it a little bit better than I can. Because I kind of go, when I think about the cube, I really think of it within my healing practice
Yeah,
and what I'm doing as a healer. Um, but I do like to ask for it to like surround me, and it's really good for protection, like
it
really
is.
good. In meditations, when you're going to those higher realms,
It's
um,
really just like
it's like your vehicle. It's like the
it
vehicle.
is.
Mhm.
It is. And so I did take some notes because before I was hopping on here, I'm like, what are we going to talk about Metatron Cube? Because that was like the one thing I didn't know what to really say about. But then when Metatron came in, it was this Metatron cube is to help flow the energy from or allowing it to connect from the earth and also to the divine. So again, that goes back to my little drawing here, right? But it spins with energy. Something just moved over here. It spins with energy, and there's 13 circles, and it has 5 elements. So it again, it's like this portal. I don't know why I think portal. And I know some people are like triggered by that word, and that's
Mm,
okay. But it allows you to access like these to be able to open up to receive even more, I feel like, of the downloads or the connection or the healing.
mhm. And being open is one of the biggest things in this. Being
Yes.
open and willing to receive is one of the biggest things about this therapy.
Let's see, how does it work? So, Erin, I know when I was able to I had the honor to do the attunement for you, how because you use it I like how you use it. So how do you use your Metatron healing? Because now you're a practitioner.
Yes. So I used it on myself for a long time first. And I started having dreams. And then I was like, you know what? I want to offer this too. Now, in my healing sessions, I always ask Metatron, I'm like, okay, lead the way, show me what to do because he knows more than me. So I really just go with the flow. Like I said, Metatronia therapy, it does have like if you become a practitioner, it does have a structured way you can do it, but
Yeah.
it's not you don't have to. It
Right.
really, even in the packet that Tammy wrote, it says like you can really go with your own intuition. And that's the biggest thing. You follow your intuition and really allow Metatron to come in and be just be the conduit, you know?
Yes.
And so a lot of times when I use it on clients, I do a lot of distance sessions. So that emotional release does happen a lot,
A
right?
lot.
And
Yeah.
that is just bringing stuff up. It's excavating the parts of us that are no longer serving us, that
Yeah.
we need to release, that we need to work on. And it also, I've had every single session I've done, the client that I've done it for tells me the next morning, hey,
I
that
saw.
was the that was the best sleep I've ever had. Or, oh my God, what did you do? I slept so well. So the night of your session, you're going to have an amazing sleep.
Yes.
That's just what it is. And I think it's because it's such on a deep cellular level. And
Yeah.
so, it wears us out too, right? Because it's bringing so much up. But the important thing is really when you're getting a session or if you're giving a session to make sure that you're staying grounded because it is such a
Mhm.
high frequency. Make sure that you're drinking water. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, implementing self-care and self-love for those things that are coming up that might not be very pretty to sit with for the first, few moments. Um, really allowing yourself to be gentle with what comes up,
Mhm.
and
Yes. It is
sitting with it,
gentle. Mm.
honoring your feelings is a big one, honoring what comes up too, sitting with it, sitting with the feeling, honoring it, and then releasing, letting it go. And that's what Metatronia therapy is so good with because it really elevates us. He's here to help us ascend. And to ascend, we have to dig in deep to make room, right?
Right.
So it's beautiful. It has changed my life completely. I have more confidence in
Oh.
myself.
And one
I,
thing you mentioned that I didn't even think about is manifestation.
yes. So I have found that Metatron also helps me with my manifestation. He's a guide for me, so he can really help that. And think about it. We're on Earth, okay? He knows what it's like to be human. Manifestation is what do you want to see in your reality? What do you want to see in front of you? So he's going to help us with that. He wants us to have the
And it will
desires.
help remove the fear.
Yes. So he's very, very good at
Yeah.
relinquishing.
And
Um,
again, because he was human, like it's just it shows, and I think that's what I really like about it is or working with him is because yes, he was human, so he does understand. I'm just seeing these shapes, so if I'm looking a little weird, it's because they're
same.
everywhere.
Yes. And he'll come up and he'll
Yeah,
show you shapes, within
it's
sessions.
really beautiful.
You
Uh,
might see triangles or squares.
Crystals. So I know I was telling you how I use crystals, and sometimes I'm called to use herbs as well. Well, usually all the time. Um, and what to expect with the Metatron healing. So we will go through each chakra, is what at least what I've always been doing. I don't know, but it usually will show you, he will show you and guide you what's blocked. I don't like saying blockages, what areas we need to clear out and cleanse, but also to heal those deeper wounds. Um, for example, one that I've had was about sacral chakra, which was sensuality, feeling beautiful. And she just broke down and cried because she didn't realize that she was still holding on to that. She thought she had healed and worked through that. But in these sessions, because it's just so intimate, um, things will be again re-exposed, and allowing you to bring the light and love into it. And
Mhm.
so I'm usually go ahead.
Metatron's, I feel like he's very compassionate. Like he's
Yes.
very, very compassionate. And also, if any of you resonate with Christ or Christ consciousness, Metatron and Christ go very well together, especially in healing sessions. I'm
Mhm.
just gonna put that out there. It's something I utilize every time if it's, if it aligns.
Nice.
Um, and it's beautiful. It's very beautiful. And they work together really on that heart chakra, I find, at least for me. And they really help open it up to receive more. So it's amazing.
Songs, we did talk about that.
What was that?
How songs, music, how,
Mm,
yeah. So
oh,
that's I know, isn't that? So the
yeah.
way I do is I'll just have my music playing, and usually it's an angelic music. And so
Mhm.
usually when I'm doing a session, and for example, if it's the heart chakra, this beautiful song will come up, and you just know that song is for that client or that person that's receiving the healing. And so when you give it to them, they're like, "Oh my God, I love that song. Thank you." But it's just, again, it allows Metatron healing allows you to be open and to not stay in this box, to really tap into your higher self, to step into that power of being able to provide healing on a deeper level.
Yeah, we're not meant to stay in a box, you guys.
No.
We're meant to ascend and go to higher places. And who wants to be stuck in a box and feel trapped? And it's just not a fun time, right? So Metatron's here to help with that. And he really is what I like to do. And this is kind of how it happened for me, when I first started with even finding Lottie, I kept asking the divine to bring me what I need, to bring me those messengers for me, to bring me what angels
Mm,
work with. And so always putting the divine at the very top ensures that you're not just going to be like worshiping the
yes.
angel, or, something like that. So I felt like that was very important to say too. Um, yeah, so that's what I have to say on
I
it.
love that. Let's see. Okay, so we talked about our sessions.
The music. Oh yeah, sorry. I was gonna
Music,
say
yes.
that, in every session I've ever done, I always have music playing. However, when I do the Metatronia therapy, the music is like, okay, you need to like ask the divine and Metatron what songs are going to play for this client, and then it'll come on. And it's like sometimes I don't even know what the song is, but it always resonates with the other person some way, shape, or form. And so I've been doing that every single time I connect in with Metatron. It always brings me um, to a really enlightened place. He
Yeah.
really, really helps bring that enlightenment into our lives. When I think of him, I think about the number 8. He
Yeah.
really aligns with the number 8. And if you think about this year is the number of 8, and that's abundance, right? And Metatron, like
Oh,
this
this
is
is so
his year.
exciting.
He wants to come in and he's like, this is it. This is time.
Yeah.
Like I'm here. Let's do this. So he's really popping up here. So if you do ever see
Yeah.
numbers, 8 also, interesting fact. And I kind of put this together the other day when I was watching Holly Renee's video on the realms, the different realms. And it is said that the Akashic records are held on the 8th realm, right? And Metatron is associated with the number 8, with the Akashic records. It's incredible. So, fun little fact.
I love that. Sorry, I was just pulling cards that were being called.
I know so too.
I know. Okay, so what was I gonna say? So there was something I was gonna say to come back on what you were saying. Um, So yes. Oh, the trees. Okay, so we were talking about this and how sacred geometries and everything, as we already discussed. And then we have Archangel Metatron, who is connected to the tree of life, which has a lot of sacred geometry if you actually sit down and look at it. But what I noticed once I received my attunement, was able to give it to you guys, was I was, and I've always had this thing happen, but I didn't know what it was. Where if you look in a tree, and this is going to sound a little weird to some of you guys, but it looks like fairies or like little, I don't know, glitter, sparkle of lights. And so once I was able to receive my healing and attunement of Archangel Metatron, that was really him just coming in to connect even more. So it's so beautiful. I don't know how to describe that. My laptop's about to die. Let me.
He really brings forth more like I found that once I started working with him, I started being more open to elemental spirits, which is really interesting if you think about it, meaning fairies. And in my sessions, and this is a little healer note, like this is what I see in my sessions. I always envision myself in inside this big, beautiful, sacred tree. And Metatron is always at the top, always. And he's like, all these like glittery
Yeah,
golden flecks are pouring down. Um, and like it's just it's incredible. You guys have to be able to experience it. And that's why
yeah.
it's so important to be open and willing to receive so that you can experience the potency of this healing modality. It's very strong. And um, Metatron is very fierce too,
Yeah.
like very fierce but loving at the same time. He's like an equal balance of, you know, it reminds me of like Gaia and the divine
Yes, coming together,
equals.
right?
Yep.
Yes, it's beautiful. And so oh, you were talking about the workbook that was from Tammy. So I am recreating, or we're recreating this, and where I get to also put like how to use this modality, because I realized the last time I gave all these attunements, everyone's like, how do I use this? How do I go about it? So that's another, yeah. So if you guys want a attunement or a healing, just reach out. And I'm excited about this workbook because I think it's going to be helpful. And I know I talked to you about it a little.
Yeah. And also, Madi was talking about too, about putting some sections in there about like Metatronia therapy aftercare. Like,
Yes, aftercare.
how do we move forward with what's coming up? How do we start working on that? You know, how do we move forward? So that's really beautiful. And I can't wait for that.
This is good. Okay, so do we want to go? Any questions before we move on? I don't know. Any questions, or any questions you could think of, Erin?
I can't see comments, so
I,
I
I
mean,
don't see any comments, so I don't know what's it. We're just gonna go with it. So,
so Metatron's really coming in, and all I hear is like, I'm here. Like I'm here
yeah.
for all of them. Like he's ready to work with you. And if you're here, you know, if you're interested in this, that's Metatron being like, hey, you, me, let's work together. So,
And the signs, like I said, the signs have always been there.
oh
And
God.
when I first connected with this, to my gatekeeper, which is my grandma who made this, um,
Yeah.
it was at first I would joke, oh, it's a big old grid. But it's really what inspired me to create these grids where I use herbs, I use crystals and certain sacred geometry. And so now looking back, it's like, oh, that's why I was always being called to this.
Yeah, and same, like I started looking back on some different things in my life, and there were so many synchronicities. And I think that one of the most special, cherished moments of this whole journey so far with Madi has been meeting my gatekeeper, because
Oh,
meeting my gatekeeper and my green witch opened me up even more so that I was able to have that connection, that big, big, big connection with Metatron. Um, the gatekeeper, I realized, so my grandfather had passed away a long, long time ago. And I
mhm.
was very close with that grandfather. And when I met my gatekeeper, I found out it was him. And I was looking at some pictures of his old house the other day. And in the
Crazy,
basement,
I know.
showed Monty in the basement. I didn't realize this. Um, in the basement on the wall where we used to like roast marshmallows in the fireplace, and I would, sit and cuddle with my grandpa. Um, there was a big tree of life on the wall, and I didn't realize, like, oh my God, it's been there all along. It was hidden in plain
It
sight. So
was.
I know that this is destiny, and I know that this
It,
is,
and you were also able to heal that relationship because I remember
yeah.
you saying like, I thought my grandpa hated me. I thought he didn't like me because I was pregnant at a young age before marriage. And so
So
go ahead. You can go ahead and
here's what happened with that. And I really encourage all of you, if you have not met your gatekeeper, talk to Maudie, do what you can to meet your gatekeeper, because it is a beautiful relationship. And it also helped me to open up that channel to be able to communicate with passed on loved ones, not only for myself, but for others as well. Um, my grandfather, okay, we were very close my entire life. I loved him. He was like basically the father that I wish I could have had, right? I didn't have the best relationship with my father or my mother. So that grandfather was like my safe space, but he was from a very strict home, like in the church, very devout Christian, but so sweet. He was just the most amazing man ever. And I got pregnant when I was 19 years old. I wasn't married yet. And my mom was so mad at me. And she told me that, grandpa was going to be so disappointed in me. So I thought that he was ashamed of me and upset with me. And then when so he died about a week or two after he met my son, his first grandchild. And my mother had said to me that, and this was part of her own wounding and stuff. She had told me that my grandfather was pissed at me and mad at me when he died. So I carried that shame with me for so long. I thought that my grandfather hated me when he died. So it really took a toll on
yeah.
me because it was just a very rough time. Now, when I met my gatekeeper and I found out that it was that grandfather, our
It's
relationship bloomed. And he was like, I saw him in a vision and he was dancing and he was playing his fiddle and he was telling me he wants me to live again and laugh again and love again, and that he was never ashamed of me.
mhm.
And so I've been connecting in with my gatekeeper, my grandfather, since I did that. And it's beautiful. It's
It
amazing and it
is.
helps me with everything. And the gatekeeper is kind of like the bouncer at a
Yeah.
bar, right?
Yeah. It
Spiritual,
is. Yeah.
spiritual bouncer. Um, I call in my gatekeeper when I'm doing any healing sessions, and oftentimes I'll see him show up as a lion, and he's literally hopping around and fighting off things that aren't supposed to be there. It is so intense. It is amazing. I really, really encourage all of you to get to know your gatekeeper. The thing about the gatekeeper is that it is oftentimes a passed on, like
Love.
grandparent. It's
Yes.
beautiful.
It is so beautiful because I also had what really inspired me, I don't know. Again, when I think about, oh God, this was 2018, 17, one of those years. I really wanted to connect with my grandma. I just felt like I needed to. And so ironically, we were unpacking and I found this. And so I just, not knowing, I created my own sacred grid, and was able to light a candle and just channel in and allow myself to meet my gatekeeper, and it's her. And it just to receive that unconditional love, but to also hear their version, I guess. Does that make sense? Like, I would perceive like my grandma used to hate me. Like I thought because I was in the US and not in Mexico, like there was just a lot. And when she would come visit, she wasn't very kind. So I thought, she didn't like me. And I really thought that, especially when she passed a couple weeks before my wedding. So it's like she really doesn't like me. Like she's like, let me just die. But so the point to that is
Just
I know. She's like, yeah, I would technically say that, but that's not what happened. But and that's what it is. Like it has allowed me to heal that part of the chapter and not get stuck in those stories of I'm not worthy, I'm not loved, I'm always screwing up. There's no one here to be with me, or when you feel alone. I think about when you feel like the loneliest in your whole life and your time. And when you get into that space, and this happens, the more you continue to work on this journey of life, whether you want to call it spiritual journey, healing journey, whatever you want, you can feel very isolated and you can
Yes.
feel alone. And even to where like your people, your family that are here in the 3D may not feel like they support you. And so it allows you to really sit down and to connect and understand that and to receive again that unconditional love. And then it's just like this big, like, I don't know, circle that happens.
Some of you may be feeling, and Maudie, you might be feeling this too, a little bit of pressure
Mhm.
in your uh, back, like between your shoulder blades. There's definitely Metatron coming in. And
Yes.
I just wanted to bring this forth. I've been pulling cards, and one of the cards
Mhm.
that came up, I just want to show this right now because it's interesting. Um, it says, "Come to me." Like Metatron's like being like, hey, come to me. And it says attracting like a rose. So helps with that manifestation. Rose is like self-love, right? Receive abundance, desires. And I think that's very, very, very beautiful because he's all about
Mm.
abundance and wanting us to, he wants us to live our best life, right?
Yes.
Yes. Ah!
So I pulled out earlier. I'm like, okay, I don't know what this is gonna, but that's what, and again, look at the colors, look at the
So colors, yes.
yes.
So Metatron has been he can resonate with a few different colors.
Yeah.
The colors can be magenta, um, green. Some people see green. I see green a lot because he helps me with my manifestation. So
Mhm.
that's how I connect it. And then like a golden color, I see golden a lot. And if you wanted to use crystals to connect with him too, you can always use like a golden healer. But also, Mari taught me that you can program a
Yes.
quartz to whatever you want. So
Mhm.
I actually program this that whenever I hold it, it helps facilitate um, it holds a space for
Yeah.
Metatron, and it is so
Yes.
cool. So if you
It
haven't
is.
learned how to program your crystals, talk to Maudie.
Yes. Join the Green Academy, which I am getting ready to relaunch, and so I'm super excited. But it'll be yeah, just a self-paced because I feel that's easier for people. And you also get the attunement for Metatron healing. And that's
It's
how
amazing.
you are able to tap into your Green Witch, your
Yeah. So
Gatekeeper, and Metatron.
the Green Witch too. So learning about my Green Witch helped tap me into um learning more about herbs and learning more about like flowers and plants, which also helps that connection with Metatron,
Metatron.
right? He knows what it's like to be on this earth. So that's why all that stuff really resonates or really, really works well together. If you haven't met your Green Witch yet, or even if that word still scares you a little bit,
Yeah.
always remember there is no fear in love. And Holly taught me this false evidence appearing real. That's literally what fear means. So I like to remember that a lot. Sorry, I had to blur my background because my puppy's been naughty and he was ripping up some toilet paper. So you guys probably saw my mess. Sorry.
Hmm.
But um, it's just been incredible. And then like also dry herbs, like dry flowers and drying your flowers and not just throwing your flowers out when they're done or when you think they're ready to be thrown out. I like to now, since I've um, cultivated this relationship with my Green Witch Gatekeeper and Metatron, I
It's
always
like,
think that there's powers and threes, the power of three.
and then
I've,
your God or source, whatever you believe. Like that's the thing. Like it's all one,
yes, that's
not
the thing.
just.
I always tell everybody this. If you seek it, you'll find it. And
Mhm.
it's true with everything. The more you learn, the more you dive into it, you're going to find what you're looking for. Um, and that's why protection also is so important. Being
Mhm.
mindful of what you're connecting in with and who you're connecting in with. That's why I like to ask the divine because the divine is the divine, it's the all knowing,
Yeah.
right? So I like to ask. what do you want me to work with? Who are you sending me to work with? And so that's always
Mm,
ensured that I'm only working with the highest good of all, because really all of this is true. There's plenty of goddesses, plenty of gods. Um, there's one source
yes.
connecting all of us,
Oh, yes.
and it's beautiful. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. And any other messages before we do the healing?
I'm looking at a dream catcher right now with feathers, and there's something about the dream catcher. Um,
Oh, oh my God, where did my feather go?
Feathers are
You can
coming
see
and
the
on me
color.
right now. Maybe that's oh, it's blue and gold too. Look at that. That's beautiful.
Isn't it?
Oh, I love that. I love that. You guys,
Feathers. Oh, feathers is a good one. And I don't know why I'm being called to share this. And I've shared this several times, but when you allow yourself to walk outside and to receive, you'll receive feathers. Um, so again, I remember being at this dark point of my life and it was really bad. But then the next day, like the whole parking lot at Walgreens was full of feathers. It was the most bizarre thing and beautiful thing ever. And so I looked at my husband. I'm like, "Do you see these feathers?" He's like, "Yeah, it's kind of weird." I'm like, "No, they're trying to tell me something." And again, it comes back to like you're always surrounded with love. You're not alone.
here's the thing. If you open yourself up to all these new possibilities, you're going to see miracles every day. You really will. You'll start seeing miracles in the smallest of things. This has also helped me to connect in more with nature. The sunsets, the sunrises, the trees outside my window, the way the birds sing, the way that I can feel the breeze and what it feels
Mhm.
to me. And it's always a message of some sort of beauty. Like, it's just, you guys, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have Metatronia therapy. It is incredible. And another thing with it, if you're a
Mhm.
healer, if you already know other modalities, learn this one and bring it into
Yeah,
what you're already doing. It can be utilized with other modalities. I have used Reiki
exactly.
with it
And
before,
better. Yeah. And that's a
and it
good point because I think people feel like, oh, because I'm a Reiki master, like I can't do these other modalities, but you can include them all in your
I'm
it's
certified. I'm certified in 4 different modalities. You don't have to just have one.
fun.
I will say that all of the modalities that I am certified in, this one and Holly Renee's light body healing modality are my favorites. So
Mm. Oh, thank you. I love this.
this
This is
modality has been life changing for not only me, but the clients too, especially when if they have insomnia, even just getting that one night of sleep.
sleep. Yeah. I use it on Nick a lot when he's hurting or just can't sleep. It's like, okay, lay down. Um, and he's such a skeptic about everything. So I just ask for his permission. He's like, yeah, go ahead. But then he's like, oh my God, that felt so good. I'm like, yeah, this is what you just received, you know?
And
But
I will bring this part up too. I've had a client before that really was not open and
yeah.
just didn't like
Hmm.
really open themselves. So it didn't work for them. So that is why the belief is very the belief, I like to say belief, faith, trust, and a little bit of pixie dust, and you're good to go.
And that's what the workbook tells you is like one has to be willing to receive,
Yes.
or else it's not going to work.
You
You know?
have to be willing to do the work.
And I think that's why the way that I've been guided to teach is like walking the client through a meditation to kind of ground themselves, but calling in the energies and then playing the music, right, to kind of set that vibe. But
Did everybody get that link for the music that Maudie shared at all? Did you share it out for the
I
music?
did share it on yeah, I shared it on here.
So
So,
healing, I got healing is happening. You are not broken. Trust the process. It is safe to soften. So Metatron really coming in here and telling you that he's a safe space to be. He really is. He's a safe space.
Crazy. So it says
Where's your
angelic protection.
yes? Of being, safe. You're protected with Metatron. So yeah,
Yes, it's so beautiful.
I love that.
Mm, okay. Yeah. All right.
Alignment, the return, a new story. You decide alignment. It's all coming together. And also ancient power, expression,
Ancient.
activation.
Yes. And then this one says Mother, Father, God. Again, one.
Ooh.
I know.
Okay. So I was talking about the mother god and the father god yesterday too. And
It's just again, we can't be
my
making this up. Like I think I finally accepted that. We can't make this up and really
yeah.
trust and embrace what it is and just receiving the medicine. And that's why I like using crystals and herbs with this modality because it
Oh
all
yeah. Oh
again,
yeah. A lot of times when I'm doing, I'll ask Metatron or the divine, I'll be like, okay, what crystals do you want me to utilize in this healing? And what crystals do you want me to tell the client that maybe they could work with? Um, Never fails. A lot of times it is like a rose quartz or a
mhm.
green aventurine or apophyllite. Um,
Oh, apophyllite, very
and
angelic too.
yes, it's angelic and it's the Akashic record stone,
Yes.
at least for me. But I also, um, this is just coming to me now, but like the tip of Michael's sword, that's what this reminds me
Mm,
of. Angel Michael, the tip of his
yeah.
sword. I don't know why, but that is coming in strong. And Angel Michael works very well with Metatron as well. All the
Yeah.
angels
They,
do,
they they
obviously.
do. They're like a team. Like it's so
They
cool.
are.
It's
They
like
really are. And
it's
like,
like you're a celebrity, you know? And you have your
yeah,
team.
I want Metatron's autograph, and you'll really get his autograph when you do these sessions. Seriously, like he'll sign for you.
It is, yes, it is beautiful. All right, so I guess we can go ahead and end with a little bit of
Yeah,
healing.
yeah, let's do it. Absolutely.
All
And
right.
I will say, you guys, that this oil, this Metatronia oil that Maudie um channeled and made.
So I infuse everything with Metatron healing. I didn't know that before becoming a practitioner. I didn't know that's what I was doing. But my tea blends, like when I created my tea, it would be in a sacred geometry, and I felt a certain way to activate it. It's just so beautiful looking at it now. But the Metatron oil is also activated with that kind of like there's a few people that I know that create oils and they Reiki infuse it. It's
Same thing.
same,
Yeah,
but just like beautiful. Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
Oh,
Ready on my end too. You guys are gonna love this.
oh,
Keep in mind that you might get some tingles too. Maudie, I'll
yeah.
let you do the thing.
Okay. Do you want to lead?
I'll let you lead.
Okay.
Good at it. I'm good at it too, but
Yeah,
you're
you're fine. Okay, so and everyone who catches the replay, that's okay. This will still work. I'm just gonna have us just go ahead and close our eyes and just take a deep breath into your heart space. And I want you to say out loud, and then say your name. Allow myself to receive the healing of Metatron. And so we're gonna go ahead and start with the crown. Above the crown, the soul star. And just allow yourself to just feel whatever comes through. And so the way that I see it is he's wanting his wing to just kind of calm this whole chakra system down to bring the light. And so we're starting from the soul star all the way down. When you think of the crown chakra and the soul star, it's the only one that is actually going up and not going out in front of you. And this just allows you to connect to Metatron, the divine, the love and light. And so then we're going to go ahead and go into your third eye. And so he's having me just put like these little grids on your third eye. So you might feel some tingling. Just take a deep breath. So now we're going to go to your throat, allowing you to speak your truth. And again, we're just doing a little light code activation here. And he's really having me go around the whole neck. Because when we're not open and being completely vulnerable and speaking our truth to ourselves as well, this can help, this can keep the energy just really stuck. You might feel warmth. And so now we're going to go ahead and go to your heart chakra. And this is a space of love, forgiveness, compassion, acceptance. And so he's just going to place his wing over, just sweeping it with love. Again, bringing that light energy down into that space. And so now we're going to go to your solar plexus and just take a deep breath here. And again, he's just having me place these little grids on your solar plexus to help align, clear, cleanse, and activate this chakra, allowing you to step forth into with confidence, allowing yourself to be creative and to be in the flow. And so now we're going to move to our sacral chakra. Just go ahead and place your right hand on your sacral and your left on your heart. He's just wanting me to do that. Sacral is all about sensuality. The heart is all about love. So we're just going to bring those two together. Just take a deep breath. You might see sacred geometry or different colors. That's okay. Just take a deep breath. And so now we move to the root chakra and all the way down to the bottom of your feet, allowing you to stay grounded to connect with the medicine of the earth, all the way to the center of the core of the earth, where all these crystals form. So we're going to allow this energy of the crystals to come through all the way up to your body, to your heart, your crown, and allowing you to connect to the divine and Metatron. And so just take a deep breath here. Just one more. And so we're going to count from 5 to 1. And at the end of 1, you can come back. So 5, just go ahead and take a few deep breaths. 4, go ahead and just move your arms. 3, take another deep breath. 2, place your hands over your heart. And 1, just give thanks. When you are ready, you could come back, or you can stay as I give thanks to my gatekeeper for showing up, providing the space, the divine for helping to bring that love energy, and Metatron for providing the healing in our higher selves to be able to receive. Thank you. And you can come back. How do you feel?
That was beautiful. And also, I just wanted to bring forth that Metatron really, really called me to put this up. Um, so this essence of amethyst was actually sent to you as well. Something really big about amethyst today.
Yeah.
um, interesting.
And
So,
it's also connected to your higher chakras.
and that's the thing about going with the flow. Like you really just have to allow Metatron to speak to you. Um, and then having that, listening to your intuition, listening to your higher self, and really listening what Metatron is bringing forth. And also, I also feel called to really, really bring rose quartz. So just be gentle with yourself, self-love, self-care. Make it your day to do that. Even if it's just 10 minutes of just like
Doesn't have
sitting,
to, yeah.
relaxing with your hand to your heart. That seems really important today.
You can
Also,
look,
make sure.
yeah, and you can look at an image of the Metatron cube if you guys want.
Mhm.
Listen to this Spotify playlist that I have, which is very angelic. So it's really going to help you to feel safe, and calm your ego down.
Also, if you guys have not listened to Madi's Metatron
Oh, I need to post that. Yes.
meditation, I listened to it last night again while I was going to
Oh,
sleep. I really recommend you to wear headphones, close your
yes.
eyes, get a blanket, lay down, and just let it overtake you. It is beautiful. It's amazing, and it's only about
Oh,
13 minutes long.
yeah.
Um,
I try to
so
make
it's
it short. Yeah.
it's perfect, and it is the best way to end that day.
Mm.
So if you have not listened
Oh,
to that yet, go listen to it. And it's timeless too. You can listen to it over
all
and
the time. Yeah. And there's a lot of meditations in there, that you guys have access to. I will share that too today.
so there was a lot of release too. I could feel it. So just reminding you to be gentle with yourself. If you need to journal some things out, you
Mhm.
can definitely do that. Journaling is really, really helpful. And it helps you connect with Metatron even more because he's that scribe,
Right? Yeah.
right? He's that holder of the book of life. Um, he writes down what God tells him to. So
It's
journaling, you can
beautiful.
connect with him doing that. I've really learned that too.
This is so beautiful. Thank you for doing this with me.
I have had so much fun today. I'm sorry
Yeah.
that I can't see the comments, but thank you to everyone
Yes,
that came
thank you for being
today.
here. Yeah. And I can't see comments either. Like they were showing and then like now it's just like I don't know, the screen looks weird, so it's whatever.
I
Um
think it's
that
just
that always
normal.
happens.
Yeah.
It's just such a high energy. And again, allowing you to be more present. So, ringing of the ears, that's the last thing I'm going to talk about.
Big
So,
one.
okay. So, for me, when I was questioning, like, what is the ringing of the ears? And I was asking Metatron, because I've always asked a lot of healers, and it was just like, there wasn't an answer that I felt really connected with me, I guess. I don't know. But the left, or they just didn't know how to answer that. So first of all, there can be medical concerns. I just have to disclose that. Um, but the left is, mm, he's trying to tell you to like really clear out this overthinking, this overreactive, overacting like thoughts, to really clear that out. To be, in order for you to be able to receive the messages, you have to be able to listen. You're not going to be able to hear them clearly if you have all this clutter here. The
Yeah.
right side is him giving you a direct message. And so this is where you actually sit and you ask Metatron to pass you that message. Don't question it. Don't overthink what you're receiving. It is really it. This is how I came about doing this class today. Was it was again, I just saw people were wanting it. It's like, why is this happening? What's going on? And then the ringing would happen. And so that's how we came about this today. So it's really beautiful. When both are ringing, that's more than just Metatron trying to communicate with you. That's a lot of the angels connecting and want to pass messages. So it comes back to just centering. What do you want to
So
share?
I can feel something like being released for sure, either for someone who's live or on the replay. Um, and I just feel really called to say like Metatron is going to help you with that brokenness feeling.
Mhm.
Um, that is very strong. Like I could cry, like that feeling of brokenness. Um, it does not have to stay. It doesn't. So please have faith and trust and belief and pixie dust, which is interesting now because we were talking about the golden specks in the trees, and that to me could be pixie dust or fairies. So
It's beautiful. And those of you guys who really want to work on your clairs or your third eye, like this is the sweet spot to really help you to get out of your head and to really receive. Oh, I see a comment finally. Teresa, thank you, Maria and Aaron. This is beautiful. And
of
going to go
course,
out and read. Yes. All right. Love you guys. I will in the group, I'll share Aaron's group, the meditation, and whatever else I'm being called to share. So
there's a lot of beautiful stuff coming up, you guys. Thank you, Madi, so much for
you're
being here.
welcome.
It's always a pleasure. This is such a sacred space. And also, feeling called to say like Metatron suits up and shows up, and he's
Oh,
not just gonna leave you and make you feel like you're being left, or he's not gonna make you feel trapped. He's here to help us.
mhm.
Um, so let him. That's it. Like let him open up and let him.
Yes. Oh, I love this.
It was so
Uh,
fun.
you guys have a good weekend. Thank you. Thank you. Love you all. Love you all.
Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have the best day.
Oh.